thinks men need to face up to their flaws and take more responsibility for their behaviour. But is it really hard being a man? Scotty has joined us now. Hi, Scotty. Thanks for coming in. Just give us your verdict, in essence here. Is male superiority, is it confined to an anachronistic corner of our gender, or is it hardwired into the male brain?
I think it's much darker than that. I think it's much sinister than that. I think men in this country, and let's talk about this country, men are socialised to be a hegemonic version of masculinity. So they're told they have to be violent, that they have to dominate, that they are to be leaders. And we've created cultures that endorse that. And so we're witnessing the effects of that. And I think what's really important to say when we're looking at that short film, which is quite a light-hearted look at some horrific things that have come to light in the last couple of weeks. But this idea that somehow that these have just emerged, that these thoughts have just come out, like, women have been telling us for decades this stuff's going on. And so we've got to understand that there's going to be this rage, there is going to be this anger and this backlash, that all of this conversation is about, oh, let's say sorry, oh, you know, oh, my daughters, or yes, it's now time to listen to women. No, women have been saying this for a long time.
Yes, they have.
It's disgraceful.
They have.
It's embarrassing, actually, that we've got like prolific Hollywood film stars who are saying it's now time that we listen to women. Actually, we need to do more than that. You know, like, it would be really easy and in their capacity to be able to sign contracts in which they see the contracts of other women that are playing alongside them and make sure they're being paid the same.
And you don't see any signs of attitudes changing? Is it a generational thing to any degree at all?
I think it's far too simplistic. I think my daily experience as a big, fat, queer femme of, like, existing in this world is one of violence, of people taking photographs of me in public space, of trucks veering onto the road so people can shout out expletives at me, of having, like, every day having a series of being ridiculed. In fact, actually, I was on the phone to the non-emergency police line reporting a homophobic hate crime whilst another was taking place in me. That is how much I and other people like me have to deal with. So if we ask if this is generational, no, this is happening. This is actually happening. And what I want us to do is get beyond just saying that, oh, maybe it's just banter, or maybe this is just like what masculinity is about. We've got to start really critiquing this and start looking at it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do with my artworks around the country, is have conversations that go beyond the echo chamber.
You do what you do with your arts. Have you got anything else by way of a solution or the beginnings of an answer to how to make things better from your point of view?
Well, that's a difficult question, because, you know, like, how is me, who is, you know, to some extent, like, I am a victim of masculinity in a way because of the aggressions that I put up with on a day-to-day basis. Why is it that, like, us, why is it like queer, trans, non-binary people, why is it us who's got to come up with the theories to be eloquent enough to be able to say, this is how we disable toxic masculinity? Actually, this has got to come from within. Men have got to acknowledge their privilege, and I want them to hand over power, and also I want them to hand over some platform. I'm really up for, like, trying a matriarchy. We've done patriarchy for a long time, hasn't really worked.
OK, Michael, what do you think? Because obviously I'm completely enlightened. I don't need to be told about this.
I think I've heard a great deal of rubbish in the last few moments. I mean, men are not trained to be dominant and violent. I was trained to obey a woman who was my leader, who was Margaret Thatcher. And in the present world, we have a female...
Tories love to do that,
we have a female queen, we have a female prime minister...
A female queen, a woman who was unelected...
We have a female First Minister of Scotland, we have a female leader of the Conservative Party in Scotland, we have a female leader of the Labour Party in Scotland. I just don't recognise the picture you're painting at all.
You don't recognise the misogynies that we're currently experiencing in the world. I can tell you...
And what is more, if there's one thing that has been remarkable about the last 20 years, it has been the emancipation of gay people. We now have gay marriage. We've had... What? Well, we don't have gay marriage?
No, we do have
what
gay marriage.
You're not saying that. You're not saying there's been a transformation.
Yeah. I'll tell you what would be a good idea.
There hasn't been a transformation.
My daily experience.
Scotty,
maybe the woman could talk.
Let a woman get a word. What about that?
So, you know, This isn't just confined to the movie industry, it is everywhere. I experienced it when I was a kid growing up in Watford, being groped when I was a waitress and when I was working a Saturday job in a computer store, going to the boss and then telling me to just ignore it or avoid the person. And this is about power. I think that every single organisation in the land, every public, private, every political party should be looking at, can women speak out? Who can they go to? Is there a proper process there? And I also do think that it is about women speaking out, but also men saying to some other men, this kind of behaviour isn't acceptable. And we get accused of being prudes and prim and proper if we get angry that someone said something to us, but that's because we never know where it's going to end up. Clearly, you know, my brother, many of his friends and many of my friends are not like that at all, and things are changing, but there's still far too much going on.
Okay, Liz, I'm going to have to live up to every possible stereotype and stop you and talk over you and wind up the programme. That's your lot for tonight.
Jace, what do you think?